what is the state of play for enterprises at that point? So where are they? What is their state of data? How prepared are they for what's coming for generative AI?
It's amazing question because it was such a happy moment for me. I actually thought it would come earlier than November 22. It's because generative AI models were rapidly evolving since 2017. So 22 was a big bang for the industry. And to me, as a technology person, is the biggest thing about that is it's the first technology forever, since internet probably, that CEO is coming to data people and asking for this thingy, I want that tomorrow, right? So it didn't happen with cloud or big data or neural nets. Technology people were always selling technology to the business side. So this is the first time it actually came the first other way around. So CEO, so chief marketing officer were coming to that data department saying like, I want this chat, agentic analytics, whatever we have like lots of buzzwords around that. I want this experience, this vibe for me tomorrow, right? I want to change.
So the expectation.
Yeah, the expectation was high, right? And data people, of course, their knees were shaking. Just, all of us know how data looks like in enterprise. And this is why it's manually catered and delivered within BI tools, right?
Ina, thank you for being here.
Mike, thank you for inviting me to this. It's kind of deja vu, I would say. I have never been to a historic science, but being back to the crime scene, so to say, it's interesting to be in this location. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually in the place where science began, I believe.
So honored and humbled.
Amazing. Well, Ina, I'm really excited to have you here and to talk about everything that you're doing and with your company, but also a little bit going backwards to your journey. You've been at the forefront of data and AI and enterprise and this intersection for quite some time. All the way from SAP, obviously Sisense, and today with your own startup. So you've seen the world changing, but being really at the forefront of it. And so, let's just go back to the beginning for a second. Tell me a little bit about how you got into data and also into AI.
Well, such a great question. So young Ina, I just finished my first degree in physics and computer science, and it was like, so the world is full of possibilities, and it's natural for you to want to try everything. So I thought it would be exciting to join Shy Agassi organizations at SAP back then to change the world, right? Change the world of enterprise.
Yeah.
So what we did, we actually invented this application, development automation, before it was a fashion, before Google invented it again, so to say, but for enterprise world. It was fun.
And so was that your first real experience diving into enterprise systems and this whole world?
Yeah. I did start my career at Converse. You might remember that. So this is like kind of Amdocs and Converse were the major enterprise high-tech companies in Israel for quite a while, and just it proved that Israel can scale and can build companies, not just startups. And so I started in Converse, and it was quite a journey, as delivery engineer, what we call it now DevOps, and especially telco, traveling the world to the most exotic locations and delivering this first wave of iPhone installation, for example, in Europe. So I got to hold iPhone 2006, like one of the first one, and I'm like, how many applications does it have? It has this screen leaking cat, right? So it was pretty amazing start, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your experience as a technologist coming into the world of enterprise and enterprise systems. What was that experience like for you?
I felt there is big disconnect about how technical people perceive organizational systems. Being delivery engineer in Commerce and installing this billing systems and connecting them to operational system of telco companies. And then at SAP, where basically what happened is we installed this huge operational financial ERP systems, right, for companies like Walmart, Pacific Builder, and so on. And then you bring this automation about how you develop interfaces But then you talk to business people and they perceive their data in totally different ways than technical people do. So it was evident to me back then that there is big disconnect about how data is managed and about how data is used. And I don't think it changed a lot since then.
So let's help me understand the two aspects. So data is managed and data is used. What do each of these mean?
So let's take Sisense, for example, a business intelligence company. People, when they use dashboards, and I love dashboards, I open my morning with my pipeline and everything looks great or not great, but, there's something to fix. Being able to basically comprehend your data on the daily basis is just a prerequisite for making intelligent decision making. The thing is, usually dashboards are static and not flexible enough for experience. So, for example, if you do have more questions, business questions, you have to go to analysts and ask them to model new data, right, for you to be able to ask a question. And that usually takes between 2 weeks and 2 months. It really depends on your seniority and complexity of the underlying data. And right now, we're in this wave of generative AI where everyone knows what GPT is capable of. I'm like, why wouldn't I plug GPT to my database and start asking questions? And unfortunately, it's not as simple. And it was evident to me, back then when I decided to start Elumex to solve this exact problem of productization about how generative AI is used in enterprise to support self-service about data analytics on scale.
So take me back to, I guess, November 2022. We have ChatGPT comes out and the rest is history. But at that moment, you sort of have these two big players looking at this technology from different lenses, right? You have consumers looking at this and saying, wow, I can't wait to start using this. You also have enterprises saying, holy crap, what's going to happen? But also, we can't wait to start using this. What is the state of play for enterprises at that point? So where are they? What is their state of data? How prepared are they for what's coming for generative AI?
It's amazing question because it was such a happy moment for me. I actually thought it would come earlier than November 22. It's because generative AI models were rapidly evolving since 2017. So 22 was a big bang for the industry. And to me, as a technology person, is the biggest thing about that is it's the first technology forever, since internet probably, that CEO is coming to data people and asking for this thingy, I want that tomorrow, right? So it didn't happen with cloud or big data or neural nets. Technology people were always selling technology to the business side. So this is the first time it actually came the first other way around. So CEO, so chief marketing officer were coming to that data department saying like, I want this chat, agentic analytics, whatever we have like lots of buzzwords around that. I want this experience, this vibe for me tomorrow, right? I want to change.
So the expectation.
Yeah, the expectation was high, right? And data people, of course, their knees were shaking. Just, all of us know how data looks like in enterprise. And this is why it's manually catered and delivered within BI tools, right? So far. So the analytics takes time to create because data is not in the shape it could be. And then our favorite prospects are companies who already started to implement, like paying for those tokens, right? Deploying them on the Snowflake or Redshift, getting hallucinations. And I'm like, okay, so now come to Elumex. What Elumex does is actually automating context and reasoning for organizational structure data. And this is a mouthful way to say that you have your business core data and your supply chain and your logistics and your data lake and in your ERP systems. We can connect to all of them and basically build in this semantics and context for your whole organization automatically. But I believe in human in the loop. I don't believe in generative AI, which takes human out of the loop. What I'm saying is we should have this a architectural representation of organizational context, but we also have to have workflows for people to certify definition, check conflicts, and all of that. So we build these workflows on top of them. They're not mandatory to deploy generative AI, but it opens up the black box. So it's kind of changing this paradigm where technical people install technical systems or model data for business people in disconnect what business people actually require. It's building this technical part automatically and bringing business people in the safer environment, augmented environment, to basically understand how the cake is baked.
Business people in augmented environments. What does that mean?
Which means think about marketing, right? You want to have this GPT experience for your marketing people because, like, friendly speaking, like when a marketing person comes to me with this, I want this budget for this survey campaign. I'm like, okay, bring me the numbers. Where's the numbers? Where's the data? And then they have to go to analyst and ask for this data. So imagine this world where they can have this chatbot when they ask questions and get answers. So for them to get this the setup, usually they would go to data science department, and data science department in GPT space, right? They will create something which is called RAG. RAG is basically taking off-the-shelf model and fine-tuning it on organizational data, let's say from the HubSpot, from the CRM system, and all of that. So what we do is actually automating this RAG, right? We automate the context and reasoning, and then we say, oh, wow, we found this conflict because this channel attribution is defined in different ways, even in the same system. So dear marketer, please resolve this ambiguity before you would like to give your answer. So this is what we call augmented, which means we surface ask conflicts of definitions. Semantics and data is always conflicted in big enough organizations. And for hallucinations not to happen, we have to resolve those ambiguities. Usually, they're even not picked up by technical people because they're looking at different parameters, right? And this is where we bring augmentation to business users. We say, okay, we automate the hard part of your organizational data preparation, augmentation, context building. But then when semantics is already defined and we do find those discrepancies, we bring you on the board to resolve them.
Okay, so when you actually look at the enterprise environment and the current state of play, walk me through from Elumex's perspective how this would work. So obviously you need access to the organization's information. Take me from there.
Yeah, so it's crazy enough, but we are a SaaS solution and we work with banks, insurance companies, pharma companies, which means we do have those high degrees of regulation to adhere to. We only touch organizational metadata, basically definitions and usage information to build a semantic context and reasoning. And then when it's built and the application layers are built as well, when you start prompting system, we pass this prompting through the semantic layer which we automatically create, and then we create the query to data, and the results are brought back to the user. So the results or data will never touch Elumex systems or leave the the customer premises.
How does that work in today's world where you're a SaaS cloud solution, where you get to work with incredibly regulated data? I mean, that's like one of the most difficult parts of working with these types of customers.
Yes, so to us, being able to deliver this experience in hours, not weeks, is a prerequisite. And SaaS is the only model which allows that. Right? On-premise installations are so much more cumbersome to develop and deliver to the same enterprise customers. So for highly regulated industries, what Elumex does is to combine generative AI implementation automation, data preparation, and governance. So governance is both built in the data and context preparation, but it also built in interactions. And we say, dear enterprise, you want your generative AI coupled with governance we can deliver that, and we can only touch metadata of your operational systems to deliver that. So it's kind of risk management and total cost of ownership enterprises are looking for. And compare it to 80% of tokens which are spent usually on fine-tuning as customization of generative AI models for your enterprise data. We provide very cost-effective solution as well. And being able to be up and running in hours and not months, it's something which is very lucrative to our prospects.
And so tell me, where are we heading, from the space? So today we're middle of December of 2024. So we were just about 2 years into the wave of generative AI. So maybe even before we talk about where we're heading, where are we today in the way that you see that enterprises are adopting generative AI into their systems?
Mm-hmm. So there are two kinds of enterprises. Those who are waiting for for everyone else to prove it works and ROI is there and so on and so forth, and the ones which are running. I do believe that the ones who are already running are going to be the leaders of of the new markets, right? And we see that financial space, insurance, pharma are very advanced in generative AI usage, where utilities, oil and gas, telco to some extent are lagging behind to some extent, not so much. And I'm especially passionate about the acceleration the industry went through during the last year. So I do believe that we will have those three types of environments for generative AI. We'll have this ad hoc prompting environment, like this experience when you have ad hoc questions. We'll have generative AI in your everyday workflows. So, for example, in your CRM system, in your supply chain. So you will be using the same tools, but they're going to be suggestive and bring insights and interact with you, right? And eventually we'll have also experience, which I call the application-free future, right? So application-free future is you have question or task and just throw it to either or launcher, let's say, and then you have to have those microservices of different applications and data microservices to basically combine an experience which can provide you the answer or execute your question. So this is called application-free future. And for that future to happen, we do have to have this agentic analytics workflows everyone's speaking about, but not many people know what they are. It's basically ability of different generative AI agents to collaborate. Right. So, for example, you in doctor's appointment, and this you might want to have this receipt recognition, writing recognition, and you might want to have CT scan, and all of that are different agents, and you want them to collaborate to provide you a recommendation, maybe. So this is agentic collaboration. For that, we do have to have shared context. What Elumex brings is this building context and reasoning for both humans to understand, applications to interact with, and generative AI to pass through. Right? So right now, it's different paradigms. The paradigm is organization is building context for specific model, for specific data set, for specific workflow. It's not very scalable approach. It works for now for some of the scenarios. Of course, it's not scalable, and this is why organizations actually, in majority of the use cases, have small tackle-ins and not really big roadmaps about generative AI at the moment.
Right.
So you ask me where enterprise is heading. I believe in 12 months we will see all of these systems which do have this agentic collaboration and agentic workflows, where instead of having just one narrow task which is handled by generative AI, you will have this application workflow, experience workflow, when you have multiple agents collaborating and providing you service.
And so you see Elumex being creating the context for the communication of these agents, effectively creating a layer of context on the organizational data, right? Which is obviously fitting from a privacy and security and governance perspective, but also is tuned to take the business information and make it adaptable and communicative to both the humans and the agents alike. so that it can be used.
Precisely, yeah. Capturing the business acumen of specific organization and the data structures underlying, and building this context which is accessible by all involved. And I also believe that data is going to be everywhere. So right now organizations are mostly using the internal data. We see industry clouds popping up, especially a health cloud in Europe, for example, for insurance companies to share information. I believe we'll have more and more industry clouds sharing data between organizations. And we already see companies using weather APIs, to be embedded in their like asthma treatment recommendations. So we have lots of use cases where it's super cool to use external data as well.
So how do you, as a startup, then go and work on capturing this business acumen? Because it sounds like a big part of the work is to actually be able to translate. And you said before that a lot of it is about conflict resolution in the semantics even, or the terminology, or, defining these terms. So, you need to understand them yourself, I would assume. How does that work from your perspective?
Elumex captures two aspects of this problem. So content and context. Content is something which we call semantics, right? Semantic models can capture the essence of your data, the essence of existing questions and organization. And context is where we use graph technologies like graph neural nets, which capture the context of the data usage, of previous activities. It's a little bit like intelligence. You understand different former interactions to predict the new ones. And what we also do, we basically train those graph models and those semantic models on domain-specific ontologies we created. We captured different knowledge bases around different industries, so financial services, retail, IoT, and so on. We captured terminology, workflows, processes, metrics, analytics, and so on. We captured them in something which we call business ontologies. Big word for knowledge graph. And then we trained a semantic and knowledge graphs, and graph models on business ontologies for specific industries. So when we come and onboard new customer via their metadata, we say, okay, so Mr. X, you're a retail company, but we actually capture that you have data which is related to, to mortar brick and, stores, and you do have those CPG supply chain information, and you have some social aspects in your data as well because you have social campaign in your marketing. So we capture all of that automatically and build this organizational semantics.
I love it. Tell me a little bit about your own journey, running a company, going from highly technical, leading teams, leading groups, leading units that are driving business from a technology perspective, now in the role of a CEO.
Exhilarating. I should have done it sooner.
Yeah, you feel that?
Highly recommend it. Yeah, I feel that or at least I'm hugely entitled right now to be able to bring this technology advancement to masses by building Elumex. So I think it was so much harder a few years ago to build a company, and so much capital required to build deep tech startup. Nowadays, you don't have to have 50 PhDs. You might have 10, right, with all technology around, and still you're able to deliver the solutions which are super helpful to end users and improve their lives significantly. On a personal level, I'm married to my sweetheart, my high school sweetheart, and I have a kid, and we live on beach of Tel Aviv, so it's nice environment to be in, and combining this lifestyle of being an entrepreneur and being part of this community of startups in Israel is just such a supporting environment, so to say. I believe that I'm only able to build and scale Elumex because I have support of so many people.
I love it. Ines, have an amazing journey with Elumex. It sounds like an exhilarating journey, and it sounds like the vision that you have for bringing technology to the masses, and how to do that through looking at the opportunities that generative AI presents, but then seeing the limitations that we currently have, and the way that we've built our data models until now, and the way that we've structured the interaction between the business organization and the technical data, and then bridging those gaps, and then the observation that, we have this short-term roadmap that probably every enterprise has adopted by now because everybody wants a piece of the cake. But you're actually looking at it long-term and saying, okay, well, this is just the beginning of something much, much bigger that's happening. And yeah, we can have these short-term wins, but the future is much broader and much more engaged and communicative than we may even expect. And it sounds like you think it's coming soon.
It's coming sooner than later, but I would like to say that Elumex is a segue where we meet customers in different maturity levels, from AI readiness of the data to actually establish this augmented governance to deploying generative AI. All of them start from different points. Mm-hmm. It's important to actually have the segue from solution which can cater to immediate need of self-service, from data analytics and up to generative deployment. And it's important for every startup, I would say, right? So to meet the customers where they are.
Absolutely. Number one rule. Thank you so much, Ina. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.